So 2 days ago, it's Friday afternoon, and I somehow end up walking down the street over there with Arianna Huffington. My heart is beating to be next to such a larger-than-life figure and to tell her what I'm doing. And she introduces me to someone, as she likes to do, anyone who's in the vicinity. And she said, tell him what you're doing. And I said, I'm introducing the Dream Director on Sunday. And he said, without skipping a beat, oh, I've heard of you. You guys are big. Those are those octopus things that you wear on your genitals that allow for lucid dreaming, right? So I hate to burst any bubbles if that's why you came here to hear me. That is not what a dream director is, and if there was a moment where I realized that it's time to share with the world what we've been doing, it was shattered in that instant. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment that I have been looking forward to for 2.5 years. In February 2011, our fledgling now organization, the Future Project, was having some of its first meetings among our volunteer team of about 100 young Americans who had come together to build it. We had no money, no staff, next to no idea of exactly what we were doing. At the time, I was a speechwriter for Vice President Biden and Eric Holder, and that was moving me, but I was mentoring students in DC schools as well at the time. And I, like my co-founder Kanya, like our entire team, was feeling one thing very strongly, that we wanted to be sharing with the world, a few years later, a few core beliefs that we believed in passionately, even if we didn't have yet the resources to prove it. First, that the most important lesson we can be teaching young people is that nothing at all is impossible. Two, that magic happens when they begin their boldest dreams, not someday, but today, with that sense of the fierce urgency of now. And three, that dreaming together beats dreaming alone every time. And that when these ideas add up, extraordinary things for the most vulnerable among us happen. People begin to choose the future and the life that they have always wanted as opposed to living the one designed for them. As a result, they come alive, their schools come alive, and the world comes alive. We believe that based on our experiences. That was our dream born of seeing the hope of young people needlessly shattered in schools that are needlessly not working as powerfully as they could. And I'm here today, 2.5 years later, with a team of 30 full-time people back home in New York, in Newark, in DC, in New Haven, on the verge of expansion nationwide, to tell you that the potency and the power of these ideas is even greater than we possibly could have realized. The power of a dream defined by a young person, defined, declared, dared, and diffused to others is greater, I believe, than any power on earth. It's why we can say with a straight face that people really are magical. So why dreams? Let's start with the here and now. What, Deepak, is this conference really all about at the end of the day? When we say merging toward a new future, I would argue that it's really about a dream. A dream, after all, is a goal, a tangible future state that we desire deeply. It's a vision born from within, something of the intuition and not the intellect. And we're all here, no matter where you come from, no matter your passion, no matter your skill set, because we want the same thing. We've been talking about it, the just, the peaceful, the sustainable world in which we're all living as one. That's a dream. And when we leave today, later today, we'll bring home our books and our business cards and our notebook and our papers, but we're going to lose those one day, most likely. What we won't be able to let go of, to shake, are the new dreams that we've acquired over these last few days. The ones that shock us, the ones that excite us, the ones that merge with our existing dreams to make for even bigger dreams. And where would we be without the dreams of an individual like Deepak Chopra? If Deepak believed in limits, if he believed in waiting until the perfect day to launch the Consciousness Project instead of just starting it now, if he dreamed alone, dreams are the drumbeat of progress. Stop the beat or mute the sound, and you really will stop the progress. A dream, if you think about it, if you take a step back and look at all of human history, a dream is what empowered, for instance, the majority of Americans to finally get the right to vote 93 years ago today, August 18, 1920, when the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was passed, after nearly a century of collective determination, of dreamer after dreamer coming alive with the same dream of women voting. A dream? Yes, absolutely. A dream, and this deserves another applause, is what caused James Meredith to graduate exactly 43 years later, and exactly 50 years ago today, August 18, 1963, from the University of Mississippi. A dream is, of course, what 10 days later inspired Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and his writer and advisor, Dr. Clarence Jones, to be so audacious as to gather 250,000 people in one place to march for an American rebirth. We have a dreamer right here in this room. It was a dream of Ben Franklin that inspired this country, a dream that he had of united colonies, a dream that ushered in Roosevelt's New Deal and Kennedy's New Frontier, that's spreading meditation and yoga now to billions. As we heard yesterday, that's taking down dictators and ending diseases. And the dream created you, whomever you are. Before you existed, you were just a dream in the imagination of a child who dreamed one day of having a child of his or her own. And why all this talk about dreams? If I were the Disney Imagineer we heard from Friday, you may be thinking, perhaps it would make a lot of sense that we'd be talking about dreams coming alive and coming true. But I'm supposedly an education reformer, and education reformers traditionally are supposed to talk about test scores and accountability and infusing more resources into schools, at least on the whole. And it's exactly for that reason that I'm talking about dreams. Because despite the overwhelmingly obvious power of a dream to inspire, to cause someone to realize that they can live without limits, to see clearly a path to changing their lives and the world around them, dreams are not yet taken seriously in our society, if you think about it. We leave them up to chance. We don't take the time to teach the skill of dreaming well, because it really does take skill to dream tangibly and confidently enough for it to matter. We don't invest in training people how to bring their friends together to create common dreams, to fight for common dreams, even though we know from history that that's the only thing that's truly changed the world. We think that doing is the hard part. But as Walt Disney put it, if you can dream it, truly dream it, you can do it. Dreaming big enough to inspire you and others, taking your own dreams truly seriously, and we can all take the next step on that, is the hard part, it turns out. I think we've seen through the Future Project that we've evolved institutionally from Congress, from city halls, from school hallways, and prison mess halls, from street corners and corner offices across the country, to suggest to many millions, the millions, as Dr. Jones put it, living on the outskirts of hope, that their power to dream and realize whatever they can imagine is somehow insufficient. While we're here at La Costa, there are billions of people out there, billions, with beautiful possibilities in their minds and corresponding energy to give. But they don't believe in those possibilities fully, and as a result, the future never benefits truly from their passion. We must change that, for as Eleanor Roosevelt said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Above all, we found these problems are really real in our schools. Despite hundreds of billions of dollars invested over the last 35 years in this country in school reform, there has never been a national initiative inspiring young people to learn how to dream well and how to fulfill those dreams now. The why at the end of the day of learning, the motivating force, and the how at the end of the day of transformation and growth. We still have more than 2,000 dropout factories in this school. Studies show that 80% of students say they're bored every single day, and teachers as well. And 46% of students in this country are now dropping out of college because they don't know why they're there. When dreams aren't engaged, nor are passions or imagination or the unique genius of everyone, and we all disengage, time and money are wasted. Not focusing on dreaming, I'd argue, is not only a strike against the human spirit, it is also a strike against efficiency and common sense. At the Future Project, we decided to do something about that I want to share with you today, which is why, and you are the first public audience, so I'm a little rusty on my speaking here. This is the first big moment where we've ever shared this at all. It's an innovation that we've been working on for the past 2 years that I think it's the perfect forum to finally unveil. I want you to experience it first, though, before I put it into words. If you close your eyes, if you will, for a moment, and consider 3 kinds of awesome people. First, I want you to think of the revolutionaries who have inspired you most in history. See their image, hear their sounds, the words of theirs that you've read, larger-than-life figures who have changed the realm of what's possible in the world. I think of Ben Franklin and Teddy Roosevelt, Gandhi and King. Whomever it is for you, just hold that image of at least one person in your mind. Now, consider someone closer to you in your life, and who's a teacher, a family member, a friend, a boss, a colleague, who more than anyone else caused you to believe in yourself and your dreams, who came to you at the perfect moment where you believed you actually had a limit, because we all have those moments all the time, and encouraged you to just shatter them, to do something unreasonable. And third, think of someone you know who changed the culture of an environment that you were in for the better, who brought imagination and magic, made a place that was despairing a place of hope. Maybe it was a parent, a president you admire, a teacher, a mayor, or a character in a movie. I like to think of Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act. Feel those 3 people. Think about who would you be without them. Open your eyes. You got a revolutionary movement maker with a big dream, a force of empowerment who unlocks your dreams, and third, a creative entrepreneur who changes system norms. A force of empowerment who unlocks your dreams, a creative entrepreneur, a revolutionary movement maker. A creative entrepreneur, a revolutionary movement maker, and a force of empowerment. These aren't 3 different people. What we've tried to do with the Future Project is to combine them into one person who we embed in schools to hatch dreams, catalyze students to turn their passion into action, to build projects that change the world and reinvent culture so that schools mired in apathy and despair come alive. One person who embodies the best of the leaders we know. Think MLK meets Oprah. Think Mary Poppins meets Dr. Chopra. Think the most inspirational teacher you've ever had meets Willy Wonka. We call this character the Dream Director. And it's our commitment and our dream to see a dream director in every school in the world, not because we believe that schools are the problem, but because we believe they are the solution. At their best, places of possibility, where people go to discover that anything is possible and to learn the skills of realizing those possibilities and dreaming in teams, not alone. And because we think that dream directors are already there, they're teachers, they're guidance counselors who are dream directing already. They're waiting, though, to be called to action, to be called dream directors, and to be trained in the art of creating dreamers, to be given permission to do what they have always known matters so much. We're starting with American high schools, and our first 2 years, we've dispatched amazing full-time dream directors, musicians, entrepreneurs, change makers, who have sacrificed pay and sleep to make this work, to make this experiment work. We've seen magical results from attendance decreasing to school culture being electrified, to students on the verge of dropping out, suddenly finding not only a reason to be in school, but a reason to believe that they can be extraordinary one day themselves. I want you, as we close, to see it for yourself. We have a film here, a very short film, that shows you the example of just what happens when one student dreams. This is a student named Marielle Garcia from Richard R. Green High School in New York City. She had this dream that you'll see in a moment, and not only did she dream it herself and start to build a project around it, but she also brought together a team of 50 people in her school, and what you're about to see is the moment that she closed off an entire city block to demonstrate, because her dream is now going from just her high school and the classrooms in her own city to becoming a national movement. And this is just one small example of what happens when a young person dreams.
I just want to thank you. Today my dreams are becoming a reality and you are all part of that, and it just means the world to me. Aww. So I'm so excited. I am standing here before you today because I am fed up. Fed up that suicide is the third leading cause of death among adolescents. Fed up that there are bullies out there right now tormenting the innocent. Fed up that there are so many people out there who cry themselves to sleep at night thinking they are alone. But are we really alone? Is death the only way out? I have been a dreamer on standby for a long time, and today that changes. I am making my dreams a reality with all of you here today. I have a dream that one day we will love ourselves, our flaws, our shortcomings, our strengths, our past, our present, and our future. It is a dream that is so close to my heart, and a dream that all of you are helping to make come alive today. I have a dream that we will look within ourselves and find the beauty and the value that radiates from every single cell in our body. I have a dream that one day this generation will rise up and live life the way it is meant to be lived, happily and freely. A day when we hold ourselves in high esteem and never, and I mean never, ever, doubt our dignity. I have a dream that one day we will rise up to the challenge of being ourselves in a world that tries to confine us to its definition of acceptable. I have a dream that one day on the streets of New York City and of the world, young people will look at each other and acknowledge the gift of life, of friendship, of happiness, and smile, spreading love and breaking down those barriers we built to hide. I have a dream that each one of us will now turn around and hug each other because we're awesome. I have a dream that one day we will all look at each other and acknowledge the fact that we are all fellow human beings worthy of all honor and respect. I have a dream, and I am making it a reality every day that I live by how I act, how I love, and how I treat the people around me. I am the embodiment of the reality that when darkness consumes us, dawn comes. I'm the embodiment of the message that human life in its unique and vulnerable nature is precious. I have a dream, and today, with each and every one of you here today, yes, all of you, I am making my dream known to the world.
She said, no, it's not surprisingly that was the single most important, she just graduated from high school, it was about 6 months ago. The most important learning moment in her entire life was what you just saw. We dream of the day that every young person dreams like that with such clarity, takes action like that with such confidence, and brings people together like that with such charisma. And we dream of the day that the dream directors who enable that are not just in schools, but are in institutions as well that can benefit from people dedicated to waging possibility. Slums, prisons, businesses, nursing homes, dangerous neighborhoods, Congress. We dream of the day dream directors are as common as policemen or firemen, teachers or guidance counselors. We should all know many, many dream directors one day. This is a human innovation because we believe that people are the solution, and while technology will catalyze people, we took on this challenge because we believed that we mustn't stop innovating society's core characters. Society changes when people take on the identity of progress, not just when a policy changes, but when someone like Diane Nash becomes by trade a civil rights leader. We need a simple, intuitive way, we think, of talking about people who inspire others to put their dreams in action and embody the ideas of this conference, or else it won't catch on. In closing, Time this week came out with a feature commemorating the 50th anniversary, One Dream, it was headlined. One man, one march, one speech. We believe in 300 million American dreams, in 7 billion global dreams. If 50 years ago was I have a dream, our dream directors, and now you, if you join me, are determined to usher in an era of you have a dream and go do something about it now. In that spirit, I'm also excited to announce this morning that we'll be launching our website, you guessed it, dream.org, on August 28th, to inspire the nation to begin to think of themselves as dreamers, and we'll be seeking to raise $5 million to accelerate the day that dream directors are in 50 states. We must not only empower individuals, we think, but really create a conversation change in this country that gets political and business leaders to take this seriously and to see the evidence that this work really, really matters. I want to leave you with a challenge, because that's what I've learned from our best dream directors you must end every conversation with, or you've really failed. I challenge you to introduce yourself to the dream director today, not by listening to me or processing anything I've really said, but by trying to take on the role yourself. Ask yourself right now, who is the one person who you can be a dream director for today? Remember those 3 pillars. Who can you eliminate possibility for? Who can you inspire to start their dreams now? Who can you help dream together and find people to connect with their dreams? Who needs that? Think of that one person who you can serve, and resolve to try out the dream director identity for yourself sometime by midnight tonight. By dream directing others, you'll see that your own dreams will come to you in even more vivid color. Are you ready to do that? Yes. If you are committing to that, and it doesn't have to, it's an invitation. If you are committing to try one thing, it could be a text message, a phone call, to be a dream director for someone who you know, I want you to do the pointer finger, it turns out, is the finger of dreaming. There's a whole lore around, I won't go into it. But all our dream directors paint their index finger blue, and they point people in the direction of their dreams. So if you're ready to be a dream director for someone today, put up your hand and point to the sky. And every single one of you who is doing that right now, the ripple effect will be extraordinary. So there you go. RFK said, it's one of my favorite quotes, that some people see things as they are and ask why. I dream things that never were and ask why not. I would love for all of you, no matter who you are, if you are passionate and committed, to join me in making the mantra of why not the mantra of young people everywhere who are so powerful even if they don't realize it yet. I really believe that it's in us, the hopeful, to ensure in this nation, as in others, that there is a new birth of possibility in this world, this decade, not just one day, but starting right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Stay focused.